welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I am going to show you 5 very simple, very easy to make breakfast ideas that are all healthy and high in protein. I really wanted to focus on 5 very simple breakfasts in this video, like very easy to make with not that many ingredients and very simple ingredients that you most likely will have or have easy access to. So that was what I wanted to focus on in this video, and I can also make another video with like more complicated breakfasts later. But for this breakfast, I wanted to keep it simple. They're also all breakfasts that I have on a regular basis, and I love every single one of them. So I hope you test them out and that you love them as much as I do. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, let's just jump into the first breakfast. First up is a yogurt bowl. So this breakfast has yogurt, and I'm using a coconut flavored Greek yogurt. You can use whatever yogurt you like. On top, I chose to have some fresh strawberries, and I also added granola. You can also add nuts, that would be delicious as well. And I also had some shredded coconut on top. On top of that again, I drizzled some peanut butter and some honey. And that was such a good combo. Like every single flavor in that breakfast went so well together. I don't typically have fresh strawberries because we don't always like buy them. Now they're in season, so I had it because of that. And if you have Norwegian strawberries, they are probably the best ones in my opinion. But yeah, you could also use any other type of berry, or you can have like sugar-free jam on top as well. That would be delicious. This is also a very good breakfast if you're not like really hungry. I feel like yogurt, I don't get like super full from yogurt, so it's like easy to make. This is definitely not a savory breakfast, but it isn't really sweet either. I think it's like the perfect amount of sweetness to be called a breakfast. Also, yeah, you get that sweet craving satisfied. Next breakfast is, of course, probably the breakfast I have the most. It's protein oats. I just have oats in a bowl and I fill it up with water, so like the water completely covers the oats, and I have it in the microwave for between 1 minute and 1.5 minutes, and then I add just a tiny bit more water. You don't want to add too much because if you're anything like me, you like your oats to be thick. I just add a tiny bit of water and then I add my protein. Today I went for a peanut butter cup protein from PE Science. You mix that together, and if you need more water, you can just add it if you want to be more runny. On top of my protein oats today, I had a sliced up banana, and I had some sugar-free raspberry jam. I also had shredded coconut. I've recently started to use shredded coconut on top of things, and it adds such a good flavor. It's like adds a slight crispiness because it's like slightly crispy, so it like adds an extra texture, and it adds sweetness. I really like adding a shredded coconut on top of my breakfast recently. That is probably the breakfast I have the most, and I will just change out the protein flavor for the flavor I have or the flavor I want that day, and I will also just change out the toppings. Like if I have banana, I can use that, or I can use any other type of berry or jam or peanut butter, or like the options are endless really when you're having protein oats. Can you tell that I'm that I love protein oats? Okay, I think we'll just jump into the next breakfast. The next breakfast is also a very easy one. It's just egg whites and egg, and I really like to mix it in the pan because I don't want to have my yolks completely mixed. You can just mix it before you put it in if you really like it to be thoroughly mixed, but I really like to have these chunks of yolk in the scramble. So I just add everything to the pan, and when it's starting to cook, I just stir it a bit, and then you get like these chunks of yolk in there, and that just makes you get like these flavor bombs throughout the scramble. I really like that. On the side here, I had some white bread. That was only because we had white bread. We usually don't eat that. We usually have like whole grain bread, but damn, Like white bread really hits different. It's not as satiating as whole grain bread, but it's really, really good. And I just had some butter on top of that. But if you want it to be more satiating and a bit more healthy, you should probably use some like whole grain bread, or yeah, like a healthier bread than the white one. I would recommend that over the white bread. This breakfast is also really a breakfast I gravitate towards on a lot of days, because I don't feel like it's very savory. I actually feel like toast with butter and there's just the egg. I usually just have salt when I have my eggs like that. I feel like it's kind of in between for me, like it's an in between sweet savory. So I get really satisfied from that breakfast. Moving into the fourth breakfast, here I am using potato wraps. Potato wraps are really common in Norway, but if you don't have that, you can just use regular tortilla wraps. So I'm having those, and I'm having cream cheese with herbs on top. Then I added some smoked ham. I would prefer to have maybe deli chicken instead, but we only had smoked ham this day, so I used that. But I think deli chicken or smoked chicken would be better, just FYI. I added some cheese on top of that. I use some sliced cheese, but you can also use like shredded cheese or just cheese chunks if you want it more cheesy. And I added some sliced up avocado on top. On top of that, I was a bit ballsy this day, and I went for some sriracha. And if you know me, you know that things can very easily be a bit too spicy for me, but that actually worked. I was just looking at it and I thought maybe sriracha would be good on this, and it was really good. And I also had some everything but the bagel seasoning on top. It's more savory than the other breakfasts, so it's not every day I want this, but I do really enjoy it when I do have it. The last and final breakfast is crisp bread with eggs. So here I have 3 thin crisp breads. I think they're called here, it's like chia crisp bread from Vasa, but you can use whatever like crisp bread you have. On top of that I added cream cheese, and then I had some hard-boiled eggs on top, or soft-boiled eggs, and they're very soft. It's been a minute since I have boiled eggs, so I wasn't really sure about the time, but I would rather have them too little cooked rather than too much. I hate dry boiled eggs, so this is really soft, almost runny, but I really like it that way. If you don't, you can just boil it for longer than I did. So eggs, and then I had some salmon on top of that, and then I ended with some fresh chives. We actually have that in our kitchen now, and it's so delicious to have like fresh chives that you chop up yourself and have on top of breakfasts. On this and on yeah, I had that on the Scramble as well, I think. I didn't mention that, but yeah, this was the final breakfast. I love this as well. I love all the breakfasts. That's kind of why I'm sitting here talking about them, but just boiling eggs, I feel like in the morning I feel like it's such a chore, so I never do it. I always just put it in the pan and make a scramble because that sounds easier, but it's really not that complicated. So I feel like I should boil eggs more often, because that was such a delicious breakfast. And I also feel like that is like the perfect breakfast for me in terms of it being not too savory. So I feel like I don't really need anything sweet when I have that breakfast. So yeah, that was 5 breakfast ideas. I really hope you enjoyed the video and that you got some inspiration from this. I would really much like to know your favorite breakfast, so if you want to leave that below, I would really much like to read up on those, because I really want to branch out and do some different stuff in the mornings. I like eating the same thing every day, but sometimes it's good to switch things up. So what's your favorite breakfast? Leave that below and I will test it out. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.